And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Oh my God, what a game. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. Do you have your heart back yet in your chest after that one? I mean, do you need help from EMTs on that one? Like that. My gosh. What a heart-stopping game that was, I'll tell you. But it is, of course, Gerald Glassford for the Lakers Fast Break. Happy holidays to everyone out there. Hopefully, with the Lakers pulling it out, it's a little happier for you going on your Monday morning drive or your Sunday evening drive, wherever you're listening or watching this right now. Truly appreciate you joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe. Subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. Want to mention real quickly before we get into the particulars, don't forget Drip Show, my man Drip Show at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. You see this quality, soft Gigi and Kobe tribute pillow right there for you. And you know, I've got not one but two great canvas arts looking right behind me. Luca right there, Kobe right there, right behind me. You can have that quality right there for you at Trip Show Shop. You follow him on Instagram and Twitter. You go ahead, you message him, you tell him what you like, whether it's pop culture related, maybe a Swiftie fan in your life wants a big canvas art of Taylor Swift or K-pop Demon Hunters or something like that. Maybe a Zootopia 2 or something like that. Avatar coming. Well, nobody likes Avatar after they watch the movie. They just, kind of just, it's there. It's almost like obligatory. You have to go see Avatar, right? You don't really care about it after you see it, but you can have something like that. Or Lakers, Dodgers, your favorite NFL, NBA team, or more. Just go ahead. T-shirts, hats. He does it all. Posters. He does it all. It is at Trip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. And the reason why I'm going ahead and making this big run, because it's 10, 11 days to Christmas. Well, it's closing in on 10 for most people. You got to hurry. So you got to go ahead and make sure you line up something really quick with at Trip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. Oh, JSJ, I got a lot of stuff to say about John Cena's last match. Also, as well, of course, want to go ahead and mention I do the Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. I will try to go ahead and have thoughts on Cena's last match on that show coming up this week. Also, as well, of course, our thoughts on recapping the Game Awards or the Expedition 33 Awards, what have you, and also all the new trailers for video games that I hope to have a conversation with TJ or Josh, because they're both doing their own thing as well. They're kind of busy, but I will have two shows for you this week on the Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcast, and also as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Don't forget my good friend Chris Sardieri and I hit you up. What's going on with the NFL at Inside Sports Fantasy Football? I asked that question myself, Nick T, quite a bit. And all I can tell you is suffer through the pain for a little bit while longer, because trade season can start officially tomorrow when a lot of players become eligible for trade. And I'll just leave it to you with that. But even if he makes it out, yeah, he's a free agent at the end of the summer, so the Lakers don't have to bring him back. But the Lakers did come back to the court after a disappointing game against San Antonio, who shocked the world last night and beat the prolific Oklahoma City Thunder in Las Vegas here. But what was happened to the Lakers? What would happen to the Lakers, because they had fallen to fourth and technically fifth place in the Western Conference during the game, if anybody noticed there, because the victory by San Antonio over OKC. So what would happen as the Lakers stepped to the court against the Phoenix Suns? The Phoenix Suns, who recently made waste of the Los Angeles Lakers with Dylan Brooks poking the bear, so to speak. And with that came a lot of angst, I'm sure, for LeBron James. LeBron James said, as LA Knight would say, no, I'm having none of that. With Austin Reaves out of the lineup for about a week-ish with the calf strain, the Lakers needed a frisky LeBron tonight. And despite the 8 turnovers, which was bad, and I understand that, And a very concerning last minute of the game where you saw the highs and the lows of LeBron James in that last minute. That's why the heart kept pounding out there. The Lakers did get the victory. They had a strong 24-0 run starting about 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter, all the way into the fourth quarter. 24-0 run got them as much as a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter and decided to give it all back in that generous holiday giving mood to the Phoenix Suns, who actually took the lead with just seconds left on Dylan Brooks, his three-pointer. But Dylan Brooks got to be Dylan Brooks. Foul. There was a call. Didn't like the call. Got ejected. LeBron had an easy chance after making a layup with 40 seconds left to really seal the game and unfortunately missed a technical. It led to a shot by Dylan Brooks again to get them the lead, but Dylan Brooks got so upset just right after that he got ejected from the game. Those two went at it earlier in the game before. Those two just don't send them over to the same Christmas party, I'll tell you that. But LeBron James in the last minute took what we thought was a commanding 4-point lead with a layup. Unfortunately, Lakers gave that lead up too. But despite missing 2 of 4 free throws, he also did get the winning points down the stretch and blocked Grayson Allen's last second attempt to go ahead and seal the deal. Made for a very interesting last minute of the game. Whew, with the Lakers winning 116-114. Has your heart stopped pounding yet, Lakers fans? I'm not sure mine has, but I'll tell you what, it was a victory, and I will take it nonetheless. You want to know why the Lakers point differential and all the metrics point to this team not being a great team normally? I think you can take a look at tonight. Despite having the sheer size advantage and the rebounding advantage, tonight they were 19%. 19% from beyond the arc. 2 of 14 for Luka Doncic from 3, 7 of 25 overall. He did get 29 points. LeBron James, 26 points, was 8 of 17, 1 of 5 from 3. He also struggled from 3. 9 of 14 from the free throw line and 8 turnovers. Not the prettiest line. DeAndre Ayton, 20 and 13. But the bench late in that third quarter gets a lot of kudos from me as far as Jackson Hayes with 12 and 9. Jake LaRavia, 6 and 8. Jared Vanderbilt with 7 rebounds. And the Lakers do get the victory tonight. And a close one, and a tough one, and a hard one to swallow. 116-114. And here today to go ahead and talk about today's game. Oh boy, somebody poked the bear tonight, Joe. Dylan Brooks. We got to get Dylan Brooks and LeBron James in an MMA cage. We got to get them inside a UFC cage right there. That's my opinion. But here today to go ahead and talk about today's game. Good man indeed. Please go ahead and check out his latest episode that just dropped. You want to go ahead and check out what Joe Soro is doing. He's doing it at the Joe Soro Experiment right there for you at the Joe Soro Experiment on YouTube. His latest show, The Price of Winning, and how it builds a loser culture around it. It is, of course. Joe, great to have you here, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. For some reason, I wasn't nervous at all during the game. There was too much comedy going on to where there was any feelings of dismay. And I pulled out a lot of the words from the thesaurus to try to lighten up the mood. But it was not a good day for the NBA in terms of its product. I think there's definitely something. There's definitely something that needs to be looked at here with the pace of an NBA game and how bad it's gotten. And someone needs to tell Commissioner Silver that this team or this league needs a tighter program, not more. It needs tight, not more. Every time there's a discussion about There's too much of something, too many games, too much travel, too many back-to-backs, too many reviews. All I see him do is adjust it to be even more extended. And I think that's where my indifference was. I'm sitting there watching this, and every series is a review. How are you going to get excited when every play is reviewed? It's exhausting watching basketball. The game started at 5 o'clock, 5:15, let's say, right? Which
Yeah,
that in
about
itself is stupid enough. And the game finished 3 hours later. This game lasted more than a baseball game, plus maybe 3 or 4 more innings. This is supposed to be basketball, fast-paced, exciting. NBA, it's fantastic type stuff. And when the tell really was with Stu Lance. Stu Lance very rarely. I was obviously listening on the Sportsnet feed because I can't listen to Reggie Miller or any of those guys on Prime or NBC. It's NBC. I was so excited about the NBC feed coming back, and then some dipshit hired Reggie Miller to do color. And every time every time I get onto that damn channel, it's that dumbass on there doing color. So, anyways, Stu Lance never criticizes the refs. He was criticizing them tonight. And that's not a good sign. It's a very bad sign that the product tonight was a product issue. You can sit there and say the Lakers got lazy. The Lakers blew it at the end there. This is the kind of the NBA in terms of its culture now. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You can't take a nap. You can't do shit because what's going to happen is they're going to hit 2 threes. And then all of a sudden, the refs start calling fouls that they weren't calling the first 43 minutes of the game every time the last 5 minutes. And that in itself is the problem. It's a problem. A foul is a foul. Why is it different the first 5 minutes of a game? And don't tell me that you didn't see the exact same play in the first quarter versus the fourth. Yeah, guys get tired. Yeah, guys maybe don't work as much, but I'm paying attention, okay? Booker went to the line, 4 times in a row?
Mm-hmm.
What, Booker all of a sudden became Michael Jordan in the last 5 minutes of this game? That guy looked as interested in this game as I am interested in anyone around me at all times. It's just not real. By the way, props to everybody on Discord. And despite the negativity of Discord, Discord kicks the shit out of whatever playback was, by the way. So the end game is the Lakers won. And you see the games like this happen sometimes on the offensive end. They couldn't hit a shot. But what did we say even just a few shows ago? Sometimes your shot, and we've said it before, but I just, remember saying it earlier. What is it? What is it, guys? What happens when the shot isn't going in? That happens. In an 82-game season, it happens. But where do you make up for that? You make up for it by playing sound defense. Their rotations were awesome until that last 5 minutes with the combination of every foul called on the planet for whatever reason. And you set a standard for yourself that when things aren't going right, you set a reputation, you set a mindset. Hey, you know what? The shot's not going in. Even Luka can't hit a shot. But your defense was there. LaRavia was going after rebounds. Marcus Smart was doing what he was doing. That might have been the worst part of the Laker setup tonight, was that whatever the hell that was that he did at the end there. Like, dude, seriously, what the hell were you thinking? That was
he was taking a potentially game-winning or game-losing shot when you didn't need him to at that point.
If you're gonna go that route, Marcus, at least use your left hand. If he uses his left hand, he gets a layup.
Yeah.
He uses his right hand, you saw what happened. Because if he goes left, then the guy's going to commit to his right, and then I think DeAndre Ayton was wide open under the basket. You give him the ball, then it's an easy basket. So these are the little things we talk about, Gerald. When we say fundamentals, when we say in the moment, Stay in the moment. Fundamentals is always going to take you somewhere. It's always going to take you somewhere where it's good when you know your fundamentals, especially when you continue to do them because it becomes second nature. And in those cases, second nature, Marcus Smart is not some schlep that played in Charlotte his entire career. This guy was in playoff games for a good, 7 straight years? So I'm not going to buy the fact that he doesn't know what he's supposed to do. That was a rookie mistake that even rookies don't make. However, it was aided by a horrible product that the NBA put out today. And it sucks too because I actually really enjoyed the game up until about 5 minutes of the game. I was excited because of the defense. I was excited at how well the Lakers were playing defense, how the Laravias and the one out of maybe 15 games that Vando was going to do something happened today finally this year. It's the first one I remember. Those things kind of help in an 82-game season. Now, I'm not expecting him to continue to do that. It's just what it is. But I am expecting the Lakers to play with that kind of energy because other than LeBron, everyone there is young and should be able to do it, especially when things aren't going right on the offensive end. So that's kind of how I looked at it. I was not in any way nervous of the game. I had no feeling of them losing it, even though it got close. As far as
they went ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't think they were going to lose. I thought, okay, well, they're up 1 now. They're gonna Luka or somebody's going to hit a shot to win the game, and it ended up happening with free throws.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, though, it was very close indeed. In fact, a nail biter at the end as the Lakers do win 116 to 114. Sorry for the delay, everyone. I had to go ahead and record John Costa's Lakers Corner 3-minute report. Wanted to fill in for him, so wanted to thank everyone for their patience and us getting started. I also wanted to convey my thoughts, prayers to our friends out in Australia for what happened. Also, as well for those, I believe it was Brown University, if I'm not mistaken, and then also to the community out there everywhere that is really saddened by the loss of Rob Reiner, who was found with his wife earlier this evening, as far as this is concerned. So I know the world of Hollywood is mourning the loss of one of the greatest directors of the past 40 plus years with so many monumental films. So wanted to go ahead and say, even though on a very somber weekend for many out there, we wanted to go ahead and just pass along our thoughts on that. We don't forget, but we wanted to go ahead and say thank you to everyone for supporting us in these times of need in the holidays, especially El Rosto, who gave us a super chat, Jackson Hayes, part of that bench mob. I will not use that phrase too much, Joe, because so far the only thing that really has been mobbed at the bench this year has been themselves. But the key for the Lakers was going on a 24-0 run about halfway through the third quarter. And a lot of that was keyed by the bench with Vanderbilt, 6 offensive rebounds, Jackson Hayes, 12 and 9, Jake LaRavia, like you talked about with his defense, 6 and 8 himself, and even Gabe Vincent hitting a 3, closing out the end of the third quarter. Your thoughts on that, my friend, as they went into the fourth quarter, went on a 9-0 run, totaling out that 24-0 run. That is the difference in the ball game. That is what kept the Lakers, as far as from difference, giving that buffer, causing such a great comeback. Having to work hard for Phoenix Suns to come back to go ahead and get this game as close as it was. We'll talk about LeBron's last minute here in a second, but I want to get to the good part with the Lakers and the bench, at least for that period of time, stepping up to the plate, Joe.
Yeah, God, what can I say about Jackson Hayes? Jackson Hayes had 2 top 10 plays tonight. I'm top 5. And I don't even know what the other 3 are yet. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. Boy, I saw him jump on both those plays. And I go, oh, shit, what? One with 2 hands from the dotted line. I go, is he gonna come up short? Didn't come up short. And then the second was baseline, and it looked like he jumped. He looked like LeBron in 2008 when he jumped on that one. And I'm just like, what? And then flushed it down. I was like, whoa. I mean, I was on the Discord and I was saying, oh, but I actually literally said, oh, really loud in my house too. it was very entertaining to see those things, and that's what you want to see out of your bench. They're the guys that are supposed to keep the energy going, right, while you sit and rest as starters. And guys like Laravia, guys like Vanderbilt, guys like Jackson Hayes, they all did exactly what was needed, and they put the Lakers in a position to win the game. The Lakers shot 37 threes tonight and only made 7. I think they just thought that maybe they'd be able to get out of that funk, and it really never materialized. But what did materialize is they made up for it with energy. They made up for it with many, many, many offensive rebounds. They had 24 offensive rebounds tonight. And I'd say that's probably the difference in the game. If they don't get those rebounds, this thing could have probably gotten away from them. It's a weird game. Good game. Very, very bipolar, tripolar, quad polar game. There was 7 different games in this game. You had okay officiating, bad officiating, good officiating, bad offense, good offense, timely shooting, horrible shooting, bad decisions by players on each side. It was the most erratic, most fitting game in this particular culture of ours that you'll ever watch in your life.
I'll tell you what, though, my friend, there was a LeBron sighting tonight, and then some. Getting closer and closer to the 41st birthday, he was frisky tonight. It wasn't perfect. 1 of 5 from 3, 8 turnovers. It wasn't pretty at times, Joe, but let me go ahead and mention some of the highs, because I mentioned some of the lows. I'm going to mention some of the highs tonight with him with 26 points, a chase down block in that first quarter, vintage LeBron per se against Jordan Goodwin, frisky and feeling it as far as the jabbering back and forth with Dylan Brooks, which ultimately led to Dylan Brooks later on in the game getting ejected because, he just couldn't help himself. And I know somebody said, to me a couple weeks ago about Dylan Brooks, Houston would love to have Dylan Brooks back, maybe, but this is the Dylan Brooks you'll also get as well, as far as that's concerned. But LeBron in that last minute put the Lakers up by 4, Joe, with the layup, which seemingly would you put this game out of reach, but no. And then also had 4 opportunities at the free throw line to go ahead and ice this game, and only made 2 of them. But he also blocked the last second attempt from Grayson Allen. He blocked that shot to seal the victory as well. And not to mention, he was all up in what was going on with the Phoenix protest, with the protest, the challenge calls, and of course also the ejection of Dylan Brooks. Just another game for LeBron James. But I'll tell you what, that last minute, the clutch LeBron, you saw it, you didn't see it, and then you saw it again, Joe.
Yeah, it's usually not a place that LeBron likes to be in, but he did make the last 2. And really, the second miss he had was halfway in and came out. I don't know how the hell that one came out. I had PTSD when that happened too. For just a half a second, I remembered Ori's shot that went that way in 2003 against San Antonio. God, how different would that have been had that shot gone in?
Yeah.
Lakers would have went back to LA up 3-2 instead of down 3-2, and maybe the Lakers 4-peat. History changes, the whole butterfly effect thing. But LeBron James has not been messed with like Dylan Brooks does typically, unless you want to count what's his name from Indiana. What was his name?
Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson, right? But he was more goofy than tenacious like Brooks. Brooks he's trying to bully LeBron. And if I was to talk to Dylan and say, okay, I'll let you keep doing what you're doing, but can you do it like this a little bit? Can you not do it right after you hit a game-winning three, possibly, and then give them another chance without having the clock run out? But then I don't know necessarily if that's how Dylan Brooks' brain works. I think people in Memphis got tired of it. I don't know if people in Houston got tired of it. I think it was just part of a trade to get Durant. But that might have been the dumbest play of the day. You can call Marcus Smart's play dumb. I just think he made a bad decision in terms of which hand to use. If he'd used his left hand, he would have had his defender, move out of where he was. The defender anticipated him not having a left hand, and he went all in on the right and got the block. Dylan Brooks might have cost the Suns the game because of something that he had no reason to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, the fact that he lasted as long as he did with 5 fouls was a testament to his discipline, and then he went and screwed it up. Just stupid.
And guess what? They meet again in 9 days back in Phoenix. So 9 days from now, we can see.
And you see that, and what did we talk about? Talking about helping these guys not have too much. They don't have to deal with the rigors of an 82-game season. Look what this game could have been. Right? You said in 9 days they're back in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Make the damn schedule regional, and you'll start getting these kind of things that start. Oh, I'm so tired of seeing Dylan Brooks and the Phoenix Suns. I can't stand Devin Booker. He's got a face that you want to punch, right? A punchable face. You got all this stuff, and then you got the Luka history with that. Guys, the schedule used to have 6 games against one team. Silver needs to go about that. I know there's some kind of money thing that's involved. Otherwise, it would have been done by now. I don't know what it is. I haven't been able to figure it out. But if you guys want to limit the stresses of travel, that's really what kills these guys. Ask Phil Jackson. That was his one issue. Coming back every time. He's like, travel. And he always used to use Cleveland as the spot. Traveling to Cleveland gets taxing after a while. Well, the reason why is because you're probably going to Cleveland in December and January. And Cleveland already in July and June sucks. I can only imagine how bad it is in December and January, right? Cold, not really a fun place to be. People are kind of, So what are you going to do? What are you going to do to lessen that? Well, how about this? I think it's much easier to take an hour flight. And in some cases, depending on daylight savings time, you might actually not even have that hour. You get it back when you come back to Southern California. See what I'm seeing? I mean, I try to think of everything here, man. Make it more regional. Let's have more Phoenix, LA controversy. Let's have more Sacramento, LA controversy. Because what is Sacramento going to do? At least give them something, right? No matter what's going on in Sacramento, if they know that they got the Lakers coming in 3 times a year, you know that they're going to have something good. They're going to come see LeBron James. They're going to come see Luka, even though they're probably going to win only 30 games. See, everybody wins. Limit the travel. If you can do that and turn the West East Coast thing into one game, pick and choose what year that team goes to Philly or Philly comes to LA, and you will watch. And you might even kind of create this East-West thing again, kind of like Major League Baseball used to do with the NL and AL. Now you have maybe the winner of the East and the winner of the West meet each other where they've only met once, and they don't really know each other. And, that there's an interesting storyline there. So
let me ask you this. It was said by Drip Show at Drip Show Shop. Again, like I said earlier in the show, please go ahead and support him. If you want to go ahead and get a great gift, go start by following at Drip Show Shop and message him for what you might need for that last minute holiday gift. Wanted to go ahead and he mentioned if Dylan Brooks was under Dodgers management, do you think he would be a championship player? Like, for instance, Draymond Green, he's despite his stupid mistakes and anger issues, he's been a championship player. Would you see the same path had he been under a different management team, like let's say the Dodgers management team that partially is in El Segundo now?
Not likely, because they had issues with Yasiel Puig, and he never did anything like what Dylan Brooks does.
Mm.
He was known as the wild horse, and I think what ended up happening was it wasn't so much public. I think he was able to control that. I think his focus is really what kind of got to the Dodgers performance. And you see, the performance part, he always came in clutch. He was pretty valuable. The guy should still be in the league, but there's something that I've never really heard behind the scenes and just kind of speculated because it's very few times you're going to find somebody that's built like a god, can throw a ball 300 feet on a dart and it's bullseye, and a guy that hits clutch, right? I mean, Yasiel Puig, part of the frustration about 17 and getting cheated was because guys like him didn't get a ring because of that. And he deserved it. He deserved it. He deserved it in 17 and in 18. He had amazing moments even before then. So if Dylan Brooks is a Dodger, I don't even think they let him out the door.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. I think Dave Roberts would be like, "Hey man, what the hell are you doing?" Or Kershaw would come out of somewhere and say, "What the hell are you doing?" Kershaw. I was always kind of like in the dark with Kershaw. Who was Kershaw? Why does everybody love Kershaw so much? Kershaw seems to be very focused and very kind of determined mean. And sometimes that kind of sets people the wrong way, especially when you have a clubhouse or a team of egos. But then when you start to really find out details, because I ended up meeting some people that are close to the Dodgers organization, and you start to listen to more podcasts and you listen to this person talk about this person and they interviewed it. And then you start to find out. I mean, Walker Buehler was like the clincher for me last year. Imagine that. I didn't really know what it was until last year. Walker Buehler's on Mookie Betts' podcast, and he's all, "Hey, 22 would have done it." And Walker's that guy, by the way.
Yeah.
He's that ego guy that's kind of like a prick, but in a good way. But sometimes that doesn't work with a room full of egos. And the fact that someone like Walker Buehler was saying, "What would 22 do?" I was like, damn, man, this is something that Kershaw has done for 18 years now, did for 18 years that we don't even know about. And that is the beauty of that particular athlete, is that you don't even know it because shit always comes out, right? But you don't know. So now correlate that with someone like Dylan Brooks in that clubhouse. I am sure that if Dave Roberts isn't doing something, because Dave Roberts wasn't there the entire 18 years, right? Kershaw played for Joe Torre, played for Don Mattingly. So I'm sure that if something like this happened, I'm pretty sure that someone like Clayton Kershaw, like, "Hey man, you do that again, I'm gonna whoop your ass."
Mm-hmm.
And that would be it, because Dylan doesn't look like he wants to be a conformist in any way, which I'm not gonna lie, guys. I totally relate to that. But if it's at the expense of doing the smart thing, winning, not ruining people who don't deserve it, now you're being a selfish prick. You can't do that. You can be a nonconformist, but you better have the results behind it too.
Once again, the Lakers win 116-114. They're now 18-7, tied back again with the San Antonio Spurs for fourth place in the Western Conference. The Lakers again, not getting the greatest game from Luka Doncic, Joe. They also 8 turnovers from LeBron James. It wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination, both for the Lakers playing it and also the Lakers as far as watching it for Lakers fans, because of how ugly went with the turnovers, with the challenges from the refs going back constantly back and forth to the monitor. The game flow was just interrupted constantly, and of course also as well the ejections as well. But the Lakers do get the victory, my friend. I wanted to ask you real quick while I had my mind on it. A question came about in recent days about Rich Paul's statements about Austin Reaves being better off the bench. This is something that you and I originally had talked about during the beginning of the season. He's currently out for about a week with a calf strain, but I wanted to go ahead and mention it, so I didn't want to forget it because I said I would talk to you about it. Your thoughts, my friend, on it? Funny. He wouldn't say that if it was one of his other clients that was, being talked about in that position. And if Austin was his client, he probably wouldn't be saying that at all.
Yeah, and that's part of the. That's part of the. It's not irritation. Someone like Rich Paul. If Rich Paul irritated me, I feel like I'd lost in the intelligence department. He doesn't irritate me. He doesn't bother me. He doesn't do anything in that I'm thinking about him. But what I will continue to say is that he's a classic buffoon who thinks he knows what's going on, and he'll project that you don't know what's going on because you're some schmuck who's doing a podcast that that's beneath him, right? For him to anyone who doesn't criticize those who are doing exactly the same thing, but you pick and choose who you're gonna make what you're gonna make public. That to me is a bum, and he's a quintessential bum. Those are the
Oh, is he like
guys.
James Hex? Is he like James Hex, a bum?
I mean, you say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I thought so.
you could say that. That's good. That's a good comparison.
There you go.
There's this stuff. If Mark Walter and the Guggenheims hadn't taken over, it would probably be more of an irritation because of the leadership that allowed this clown to continue to do this. So you're talking about the correlation and the comparison to the Dodgers, and it's an important question, even though it's a baseball comparison. It's actually a good topic to talk about on a Lakers show because the same leadership has now taken over the Lakers, and it correlates with what we saw today and what we'll see with the demands that JJ Redick is going to be under. These are all important. It's a good comparison. So here's what's likely going to happen. Actually, I don't even say likely, is going to happen. You're not, as a Laker fan, going to have to deal with the Rich Pauls anymore. You're not going to have to deal with the lackeys and what do they call Vince McMahon's guys? What do they call Pat Patterson and Briscoe? Remember Gerald? I know what it is, but I want to. Yeah.
Well, Stooges, I think.
Stooges, right?
Yes. Or
you're not going to have. Yeah.
I love the Mean Street Posse. That was.
I still like the Stooges. I thought the Stooges. I know,
but the Mean Street Posse, led by the Stooges, was actually one of the best things that I saw. That was great.
Look, man. I stopped watching wrestling after the late 90s, but there was a couple times in the early 2000s where I had to tune in. When the Fabulous Moolah was on and May. And then whenever I heard Stooges, Pat Patterson and Briscoe, people don't even remember these guys. Again, I used to pay attention to wrestling back in the day. I'm like, Pat Patterson is the first Intercontinental champion ever. Like, he's like royalty in wrestling. And then Briscoe and his brother were practically like, they were like part of the beginning of when TV started getting, mainstream, right? And him and his brother were the guys that were integral parts of wrestling. So to sit there and listen, I'm like, man, look at, they're calling like the two like icons of wrestling Stooges. So I always thought that was funny. And then May getting, oh my God, when Bubba Ray slammed her through a table, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? So, wow. How do I put a button on this before I kind of lose myself in the discussion? Rich Paul is on borrowed time. I think he's trying to get as much publicity as he can because these guys think in dumb terms, in terms of they can't get it the normal way. They have to get it as creating controversy. But don't worry, Laker fans. In about 6 months, barring a championship, you're not going to have to deal with the Rich Pauls or the Maverick Carters, any of these guys. All these clowns are going to be gone, and you're going to see a renaissance in Lakerland, in El Segundo. And you will see more of what you saw and how I explained the Dodger culture, because that same culture is coming to LA.
JSJ, I don't think I would have used those words right now. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is, of course, Joe Soro from the Joe Soro Experiment, along with B. Gerald Glassford from the Lakers Fast Break and Pop Culture Cosmos. Thank you so much for watching, listening. The Lakers do get away with a victory, blowing a 20-point lead, but in a very eventful, I should say, for lack of a better term, last minute for the Lakers and LeBron James. They do pull out the victory 116 to 114.
Yeah, let me say this one thing, Gerald. Yeah,
Sure,
in case you guys forgot, this is not my show. This is Gerald Glassford's show.
They often confuse that. Yeah. If you're not providing a positive conversation on this channel, then your stuff will be modified. And that's why we have moderators. If they don't like what you're putting out, they'll deal with you accordingly. So you guys, if you disagree with us, do it respectfully. Don't lie. Don't try to tell no, it's not the truth. We tell it like it is. Don't be a negative in the conversation. If you disagree, you disagree, but be respectful. When you're not, like James Hex is and Brad Stevens, who, by the way, is a much better GM than whoever is typing in there tonight. Yeah, you will get moderated by our moderators. It's just that simple. But I do want to go ahead and hit a couple of the super chats. 805 said, "Rest in peace to Rob Reiner and his wife. A terrible, tragic story. It does look like there is a person of interest, and it does not look like it's going to be a good situation as far as they're concerned, because it does look like a homicide, which is not a really good situation at all. I'm sorry to see it. It could be reports say it might be a family member involved in that one too. Drip Show Shop says Deep Brooks more like Tommy Pham. Is Deep Brooks more like Tommy Pham, Joe?
No, he's worse. He's worse.
Fair enough.
You know who's worse? You know who's worse than Dylan Brooks? Gabe Vincent. At least on the basketball court.
That's true. That's one of the things I want to say. Okay, Gabe Vincent. Okay, he did have that part of the stretch where he was part of that 24-0 run. And Intel Wild says, if you guys get to 45 likes, he'll super chat $50. At this time of the year, it is truly appreciated. Any time of the year is truly appreciated. Intel, you're the man indeed. Joe, I did want to ask you, though, again, 24-0 run. Of course, he was part of that. Great. Awesome. Pat on the back. But JJ, when the game was out of reach and 20-point lead, still relied on the same individuals to get him across the finish line, and it almost cost him. In this game, Joe, we didn't mention yet as far as maybe some of the things that could have been done differently in that fourth quarter to at least keep the Phoenix Suns at bay, so that we didn't have to have that furious last minute, that heart-stopping last minute that we did.
I think it was a combination of all things going wrong. I'm not going to fault JJ too much on this, because I think at some point in an 82 game season, you have to let your guys figure some stuff out. We praised Phil Jackson for this for years, and we can't be hypocrites and say, well, you got to call timeout. You got to call timeout every time something goes wrong. These are the moments where your veteran guys, and folks, we're talking about Luka Doncic and LeBron James, arguably the greatest player of all time and arguably the best player in the league right now. I would like to think that those guys should be able to figure it out too. So I'm not going to get on JJ on what did he do coaching-wise and all that. Plus, I said at the beginning of the show, the officiating changes for some weird reason in the back half of every fourth quarter, it seems. And this has always been the case. I never understood it. I've never really talked about it, but I think this warrants that, because I've seen first quarters. You can tell that the refs are just letting them kind of develop what they're doing. Okay, that's great. How about keep doing that also? Stu Lance getting upset with the refs tonight. Guys, I have listened to Stu Lance since I've lived in Southern California. So for almost 30 years. With Chick, without Chick, with Billy Mack, without Billy Mack. I cannot remember the last time I heard Stu criticize the refs. That's how rare that comment was tonight. Usually he'll comment about, oh, come on, I got to get home. It's kind of a running joke. Hey, can we hurry this up? Stop calling timeouts. Stop calling fouls, refs. But tonight he criticized the officiating. And for me, someone who's watching what was going on and not just watching the ball, watching kind of what's going on with these screens and these drop coverages and all that, what is it about the last 5 minutes of a damn NBA game that you feel like you need to get tighter in terms of the officiating? These guys were already beating the shit out of each other for the first 43 minutes. So you cannot use that excuse, oh, they were getting tired. And usually when you get tired the last 5-6 minutes of the game, you tend to get a little lazy and you do a little bit more body. No, they were very rough tonight. You all saw that, right? You saw it, Gerald? It was pretty physical. So to sit there and say, oh, well, did they get more physical at the last 5 minutes? Well, that doesn't make sense if they're tired. Why are you calling? I felt like all I was watching for about 2 minutes was Booker hit free throws. On calls that I saw in the third, the second, and the first that weren't called fouls. Why? What changed? And you wonder why everybody thinks your shit's rigged. It's stupid. It's stupid. And I believe that was the catalyst to this. It wasn't just the Lakers sitting back and going, okay, we got this. Yeah, it's natural. I get it. But not 20 points. It wasn't all them. And I'm not going to put the burden of solution on JJ Redick when he has two of the smartest basketball players that have ever played. Two of the smartest. Two of the smartest. You got to be able to figure that out. They couldn't hit a shot tonight. Luka thought maybe he could bust out of his slump. That's why he shot 14 threes. I have never, not even when he was in Dallas, never had seen Luka shoot this bad. And by the way, folks, he still dropped 29.
Well, let me ask you this, Joe. That's one of my next questions I was going to hit, and hopefully Legend will be able to join us here in just a couple of minutes. Once again, the Lakers with the victory, 116-114. I did want to go ahead and ask you this. Luka, when you're shooting 2 of 14 from three, I mean, when you know it's not your night from three from the outside, you should adjust your game, especially with a team like the Suns, where the Lakers dominated rebounding on the inside, where your centers were, 32 points and 21 rebounds, I believe, total as far as what for both combined. Take the ball inside or get the ball inside on days when you're not having it from the outside. Because when the Lakers are shooting 21% from the three-point area, they actually were as low as 17% at one time in the fourth quarter. It's not your day from the outside, but they still insisted on shooting from the outside, and that helped Phoenix come back from 20 points down to regain the lead. That wasn't the sole reason. There were obviously a myriad of reasons, but that certainly didn't help. As a coach, don't you you get the guys saying, look, it's not our night from three. Let's push the ball inside. Let's try and get the ball inside to Ayton, Hayes, or LeBron and Luka. Take that ball inside because it's not really working from outside. I mean, Hashimura was a nothing tonight. Let's just put it that way. And Smart wasn't much better. Your thoughts, my friend, on nights where you're just not having it in that fourth quarter, don't you go ahead and try to adjust your game to just start taking all, especially if they're going to be making a lot of those calls, because the Lakers, even with all that, had over 40 free throws tonight.
And that might have been why. Maybe there was the pressure of you giving the Lakers all these calls, and they're trying to sort of bring it back a little bit. And that in itself is even worse. Mm-hmm. It's even worse in terms of your biased decision-making. Oh, well, if we don't do this, they're going to tell. If we're damned if we do, we're damned if you don't. Well, let me explain this like everybody's a 10-year-old. And I don't even know if a 10-year-old would understand this. When you're more aggressive, what happens, Gerald? When you're going to the basket, pick and rolling,
you usually get rewarded for it.
You do, because you do get fouled, right? If you're Phoenix Suns tonight and all you're doing is shooting, How often were they going to the basket? How often? Grayson Allen wasn't going there.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks wasn't going there.
Because they had a much smaller team tonight.
Right. I don't even remember. There was times in the game I didn't even know where the hell Devin Booker was. He was just sitting, he was just coasting in the 3-point line. Yeah. So what is it? What exactly is it? You know, I'm not gonna put my eggs, my life, my whatever in an area depending on morons that can't understand the difference. What is it? No, Son is a popular patron in my show. That's like comparing me to Charles Manson. We've both been called psychopaths. The only difference is he did what he did and I do what I do. So completely different scenarios. George Springer, I wouldn't wish death on him. But he's a cheating piece of shit. Dylan Brooks is just crazy. If you want to ask me who I'd pick to be on my team right now, I'd pick Dylan Brooks. That's how much I dislike George Springer. And the guys that were with him, by the way. I can't stand those guys. I can't stand that franchise for anything because of what they did. Anyways, you got to watch the games, folks. It's as simple as that. And not every game needs to be even in your head. Oh, they got 45 free throws. Okay, why did they get 45 free throws when you got 15? Well, because the refs were biased or whatever. No, they weren't. Because I kept seeing DeAndre Ayton getting the ball 2 feet from the basket. I kept seeing LeBron go to the basket. I kept seeing Luka go to the basket and then sometimes stay back. It was kind of a back and forth. You saw a lot of guys go hard to the hole, and you're going to have more chances at going to the line when you do that. That's the point of it. And if you're not, then what do you want them to do? They're not going to foul you as much at the 3-point line than they would in the paint. But I think that's probably what played into this. You're on the road. There is an advantage being at home because the crowd's going to react to, you know, the other team doing well, and they're going to start going after you. You know, there is no game. There is no game in sports, at least here in America, that is as close to officials as it is in basketball. So they feel it, they hear it. They're human. But I just hope they weren't trying to sort of even that out, which is just stupid. It's stupid because you almost had a team lose because of that.
And here today to go ahead and discuss today's game. It's a good man indeed. It is, of course, Legend from iGetNext Sports Media, who I will be on tomorrow night. I will be on your channel tomorrow night. I will not diss you. So I apologize because I dissed Joe. I dissed Legend. I had bathrooms I was remodeling on Saturday and Sunday. Family just took me all over the place and kept me going. So I do apologize. Holidays get a little busier, and I apologize for that. Drew Shows Shop, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Thank you all for a great 2025, he's saying. Again, from us as well, thank you all for a great 2025. Happy holidays. Hopefully it's a safe one. I know this has been a somber weekend for many for reasons out there in the news from where you're in the entertainment world, Australia, Brown University, just not a lot of things there coming out of there that are really positive right now. But the Lakers, again, trying to provide some positivity with their victory, 116 to 114. Wasn't the prettiest thing I've ever seen, Legend. Again, Dylan Brooks, with all of his antics and all of his stuff, might have poked the bear just a little bit too much. It wasn't the prettiest LeBron game, but I'll tell you what, it was feisty LeBron. And feisty LeBron with no Austin Reaves in the lineup is exactly what we needed.
Yeah, it's what you needed just to make up for Austin's output. And yeah, Dylan Brooks kind of showed us why Memphis gave him a boot. He kind of was called with it. I thought you kind of costed your team the game. You gave LeBron free throws. True, he missed it, but still, you gave him an opportunity to pretty much take this game over. So Yeah, the antics, it works at times. You just gotta know when to do it, right? And that just won the moment. That just won the moment right there. But give LeBron credit. He stepped up when you needed him to. No, not the prettiest, but win is a win. Win is a win. Gotta do better with the free throw shooting. That free throw shooting is concerning, which has always have been. Kind of surprised he went to the free throw line to shoot the tech free throw.
That was something I wanted to ask you guys about because, again, it was mentioned in the chat as well. Why have LeBron shoot that technical free throw?
Yeah, that was the wrong one. Wrong choice.
Yeah, that's Joe. I mean, that's happened many times before that, because it's just because LeBron, all-time scorer leader, blah, 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 greatest players of all time. Doesn't automatically mean you need him to go to the free throw line, especially when you have a better shooter, a little bit better, in Luka Doncic, who's shooting better from the free throw line tonight. Absolutely. LeBron, if he's the player that we all say he is, and the guy that's, the thinking man, greatest, on the ball, on the court mentality and intelligence and all that stuff that he's bragged about for so many years. If he knew that, he would have known he was struggling for the free throw line, Joe, and let Luka take that last free throw. That technical free throw when Dylan Brooks got ejected.
Yeah, I was kind of puzzling why they didn't have Luka shoot that. My only guess would be JJ saying, "Look, you're going to need to make these, so better start doing it now." But I think
he got his chance later, but he
after 23 years, I think it's enough trying at this point. I think you might want to. Lucas is shooting career best
or 80%.
Yeah, he's shooting the career best from the 3-point from the free throw line. And I want to thank Luka Doncic. It seems like there's been a couple of things that I've said all summer about his game, and he's hit on both. Pretty crazy. I don't know. Maybe something happened with the chat that channeled to the right people. And I was saying that Luka has to be hitting 80%. He cannot be shooting 77% from the free throw line. He handles the ball way too much to be shooting in the high 70s. Absolutely not. And those of you who don't, there's a difference. There's a difference. It actually does matter. Those small percentages, especially in the highest of highest leagues, highest competitive league, that extra free throw, that extra 2 free throws matters in a game. You saw what happened tonight. They won by 2.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, I agree. I think you got to let Luka shoot that free throw.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't get it. Is it all about ego, Legend? What makes you think? I mean, just because there was no question, there was no discussion, no contemplating. He just, because it was directed towards him as far as the whole situation with Dylan Brooks' ejection. Just automatically just walk right up.
I'm wondering, maybe he wanted to try to prove a point since it was Dylan Brooks, and he like, I'm gonna show you. But man, you should just let Luka, or I don't know, let Rui or somebody shoot the free throw. It's a guaranteed bucket. That one time try to beat your chest, and nah, man, that was kind of dumb on that part. JJ, grow some balls, bro. Tell him, nah, bro. Somebody else do it.
I think the technical shot was against Brooks, but they can choose, right? Who they want for the technical.
You can choose
because it wasn't. So it wasn't. Just like
Did JJ Redick have a brain? Does his brain stall for a second, or like how did? And no reporter has the balls to ask that question too, right? As soon as they ask JJ that question, he'll storm off, right?
Yeah, because there wasn't a flagrant involved, was there? No, there was no.
I would have. Okay, so here's how I would form the question, Coach. When Dylan Brooks got the technical foul, what was the strategy to have LeBron shoot the free throw instead of Luka?
Seems like a very simple question.
I mean, it's a fair question because it could have cost you.
And again, if he goes F you, I'm going to be fine with it because I'm like that. But I try to put it as nicely as I could. I try to be as fake as I could there. Because that's a fake question. What does that even mean? What was your strategy? There was no strategy. What was it? Actually, there was a strategy. Are you trying to build confidence for LeBron?
Dave McMenamin does have that tweet out there. JJ Redick said, here we go. After the fact, Joe. Quote, Luka should have shot that. JJ Redick on LeBron James taking the technical free throw after Dylan Brooks was tossed. Well, you're the coach. Why not?
I just said that. Grow a pair of balls and tell LeBron to sit down, man.
Let this be.
Don't tell me after the fact.
Let this moment for everyone viewing now know that we're paying attention, guys. We really do. You think we're not because maybe we say things that you don't want us to say, but I don't need to play in the NBA to know how the NBA game works. It's thousands, not 100. Thousands, not 1,000. Thousands. And that's just Laker games. Imagine how many games I saw in the 90s. You know how many Bulls games I saw in the 90s? New York Knicks games in the 90s? Spurs? Utah Jazz? Man, I've seen so many games. We're paying attention, man. How do you not? What are you doing if you're watching 82 games and you don't know shit about what you're watching? You got to be the dumbest person on the planet if you haven't figured something out there, right? I would think that would be pretty bad. That would waste of my time. Imagine that. Everybody has a show that they watch, right? Everybody's always like, hey, Joe, you got to watch this. You're going to really, I know you're really like this. I go, guys, you act like you don't know my lifestyle. I go, I watch 82 NBA basketball games at least before the playoffs. Then I watched 162 baseball games. I'm watching 3 shows a day, basically. And if they're half-hour shows, I'm watching 6 shows a day. Sometimes I'm watching both those clusters because the NBA sometimes meets with baseball. Oh, and by the way, I also watch football once a week, at least 3 hours of that.
But let me say this, Joe. I mean, it's common sense. On the season, Stefan, because I want to clarify. Okay, on the season, coming into today's game, or actually after today's game, I don't know if ESPN has updated their stats. LeBron is 60% from the free throw line in 8 games. Luka is 80% from the free throw line. Going into those free throws, Luka was 13 of 14 from the free throw line before that technical foul, just to get every idea. But LeBron, he had already missed 2 free throws already in this game before he missed 2 late in the game as well. So he'd already missed 3 free throws before those last 2 free throws that were missed of the 4 that he took in that last minute, Legend. So again, I don't get it. I don't understand. It's like the same thing I said earlier about when you're struggling from the 3-point area and you're in the fourth quarter and your 20-point lead in the fourth quarter is slipping away, tell your team you have a great size advantage over today because they have a lot of small players in Phoenix, and you saw it with a huge rebounding edge for the Lakers. And the fact is that they had 30 plus points and 20 plus rebounds combined for both of their centers. The Lakers did tonight. Take the ball inside, send the ball inside, do something instead of just repeating the same mistakes over and over, because it's what cost them the lead was all those missed 3-point shots and the mistakes that they made. They're lucky to get out of tonight with a victory is pretty much essentially was what I'm saying, because again, the Lakers tried hard to lose this game, but you know what? They did it just enough to win it.
Yeah, I mean, those wins a win. You gotta take it, but I just in that situation though, yeah, you gotta put your best free throw shooter to the line. You gotta LeBron got pride. It's got the ego, but you gotta be the coach, man, up until it's just not happening. You got a history of missing these free throws. The stats are there, the numbers don't lie in this situation. You ain't the person that need to be going to the line. If I'm the other team, yeah, send LeBron to the line every time. He's gonna more likely miss one out of 2. most likely. Maybe he might make both of them, but high chance he's gonna miss at least one. You need to put Luka or Rui. It's one of your best free throw shooters in the line. Don't put yourself in that situation. Because that could have been disastrous. And then we'd be looking at JJ as well. Because you the coach, you let it happen. So that's on you.
So JJ Reddit's okay, not JJ Reddick, but JJ Reddit's assistant mentioned in his comment, the refs bailed us out. It's happened for the past 20 years, Joe. When you have a LeBron team, we'll take it, but that's the truth. I mean, he echoes a lot of the sentiment a lot of non-Lakers fans about the Lakers and how they win their games from the free throw line, which to an extent they do.
Ref bails is it's happened for the last 20 years. When you have a LeBron team, we'll take it. But
I'm going to put it up here for you.
I saw it. I don't want to read it.
Okay.
I had a show for 3 hours the other night.
Uh-huh.
I think it's kind of interesting that we're at this topic again, this time for a regular season game. I'm not going to say that officiating doesn't affect games. That's just, it does, especially in the NBA. And tonight it did, because I could see, I'm not blind, the same plays in the first half versus the last 5 minutes of the game, they were called differently. And that's my frustration with that. To say this benefits LeBron, officiating benefits LeBron the last 20 years. If that's why LeBron is LeBron, then the loser mentality is entrenched in you. If you want to say referees are going to sort of help the superstar, there's some truth to that. But what do you mean by help? They're getting a couple extra calls. They're getting the benefit of the doubt. Okay, if you really want to go that route, let's go to this route. I want to know if you're going to OKC's page and saying that about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because despite the fact that he is an amazing player, and I love his demeanor, by the way, the reason why it's hard for me to criticize SGA is I love his aura. He's got a look of a king, like his face, the way he kind of is moves around like he's a grown ass man. Like, it's very rare in this era where you see that. Most of the daisies you see now, they're either fake or they're wearing purses, shit like that, right? So I saw at least 5 to 10 highlights of calls for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and that's just 5 to 10 that I saw, where I'm like, what are they doing? This guy's getting to the line basically just running. And it's very, very James Harden-esque. It's not just LeBron. It's not just Kobe back in the day. It's not just Jordan. I don't know where this comes from. Maybe they're maybe they're good manipulators, which proves my point even more. Stop officiating differently for things. That's what this all comes from. A foul's a foul. If he gets slapped in the hand, it's a foul. I don't care if it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Gabe Vincent. Call the foul. Now, I had made a very good point years ago on this channel. I said, okay, if there's a foul and you didn't see it, right? You're human. You're a ref. You were sitting at an angle. You did not see it. And you said, I didn't see it, Jason Tatum. I didn't see you get hit in the wrist. You probably did get hit, but I didn't see it. I'm sorry I couldn't call it. Okay. You got to kind of buy that, right? What I hate is when there isn't a foul and it's clear. Why the hell did you blow your whistle? You just anticipated. You just guessed. That right there needs to be punished. That needs to be criticized. Because when you see the replay and clearly there is no foul, there is no slap of the hand, but you called it that. Why did you call it that if you said you saw it? See what I'm saying? And that's always been the issue in the NBA. I understand pressure. You got the crowd on you and all that. Well, folks, I'm sorry. Maybe you should go do another job if you can't handle it. I'm just saying. If you can't handle it, if you're going to see fouls that aren't fouls, then you don't belong officiating in the NBA or in any basketball game. And for me tonight, you can sit there and regurgitate what every loser says out there when something doesn't go their way. Oh, it's the ref's fault. Oh, it's the mother's fault. Oh, it's the neighbor's fault. Oh, the sky fell on this guy. Like, at some point, those excuses belong in the toilet. It's not going to be like that every day. It happens on occasion where it's catastrophic. But if you're constantly saying, it's like when one of my friends said really, like, clearly, he goes, if you start hearing that something is always happening, then it's really not happening. That's just what it is. This is how the NBA is run. You have to adjust. So when you're playing baseball and the strike zone is wider for this particular ump, you have to adjust to that as a pitcher and as a hitter. It's just what it is. You don't adjust, you're going to be bitching and whining the whole time. And then the problem with, well, we got to get it right. We have the technology. Wasn't that in Captain America, G?
Yeah, that's
so.
true.
I just
Also
did my.
I believe also the $6 million man.
Right, that too. I try to do a third generation Chappelle with my white voice. It wasn't Chappelle, but it was my like a third version of it, right?
Okay, fair enough.
We've got the technology. Now, what happened tonight with technology? Here's what happened. This is a basketball game, by the way. And then 2 series later, back to the monitors. I'm like,
this game should
here?
be over.
What the hell is going on here? This is basketball.
2:30 tops.
The game started at 5. It ended at 8. On December 14th. This isn't the playoffs. What are you doing? I am still the Haitian sensation.
Yes.
And I always will be.
And
if you don't like it, you're a racist.
He's the holiday experiment, right?
I will not be coward. I will not cower down, and I will not be insulted. So just remember that.
Okay, fair enough. Stefan, let me know. Hit me up, though. I know you've got a podcast, so let me know. You said you wanted me on. Hit me up sometime to go on there, because I'm going to go on.
Stefan or Stefan?
I'd say Stefan, the fancy name. It's a fancy way of saying it. So I'm going to be on Legends channel tomorrow. I got Next Sports Media talking college football, so I'm looking forward to that. I will not diss him again. I'm definitely going to get you on this one. It is I got Next Sports Media. Go ahead, like and subscribe on YouTube. But my friend, little thing came up before we head on out. I wanted to go ahead and mention a couple of things of note. Again, there's a lot of stuff I'll mention later as far as what's going on in the world, but wanted to go ahead and what's also going on here in Vegas was that a certain team, which a lot of people like myself still think is, I mean, they're 24-2. So my gosh, real world problems there. Now the sky is falling. Now they lost a game, but they did lose last night to Victor Wembanyama, who came back. Obviously he didn't have the greatest game, but he made the impact where it counts, as far as I think it was over plus 22, 23, something like that, in his time during the game, as they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in a very actually spirited battle last night here in Vegas. They move on in the beloved NBA Cup, beloved by who, I don't know. But Tuesday night against the New York Knickerbockers, the San Antonio Spurs will. But I think all eyes were on the OKC Thunder to see what they would do in the spotlight. And this team, which has had an easy ride so far, met up with maybe one of their first challenges of since the beginning of the season, when they had that really close Houston game. and they didn't get it done in the clutch. Are you taking anything away from that loss against the San Antonio Spurs on Saturday night?
No. Just one game. That's it. Easy to win one game and just one game elimination. It's a different ball game. We got to win 4 out of 7. That is a different situation. But I think it is good for them to experience that situation because you've been in so many blowouts. You're not gonna know how to handle a tight game when you got to actually be in one. So to me, if there was a time to suffer a loss in a close game, it would be right now. Why it's in December. Better to do it now and not in April or May or June after already getting the playoffs. So I don't think it's like an end of the world for Oklahoma. You just got 2 losses. Like, I mean, come on. Everybody here would love to only have 2 losses right now. So that's good world problems to have right there. But it's not the end of the world. It just you got put in a situation that you haven't had to be in that much. And give props to San Antonio. They played well. They played defense. Wemby's gonna be a problem in another year or two. It's gonna be a wrap for the West. But you just lost to a good team. It happens. But I will say that was a darn good game, though. It really came down to the wire. And shout out to Caruso. He played heck of good defense on Wemby. He played really good defense. Man, that was special watching somebody that height guarding Wemby like that. But good game. It is what it is. If I'm the Thunders, I don't worry about that. The real goal is June, not this cup that nobody probably don't really too much care about.
And I'm going to make a message to it, and I'm going to say it here on the Monday or when I go ahead and record with Caleb Ponce, Joe. This NBA Cup, they need to rethink it. Okay, they had to. Okay, there was like an hour, 2 hours, almost between games. You know what? Okay, so you get a 2/3 or half, empty stadium and arena. I'm sorry, the T-Mobile Arena for the first game, and you have to shuffle all the people out, and you have to wait until everything's clean and whatnot. You wait an hour and a half, whatnot, 2 hours, whatever it was. And then finally, the next game goes on. You killed all the momentum and buzz. Why not just do it, Joe, like the tournament, like the NCAA tournament, where you have one game, done. 15, 20 minutes later, start of another game. There you go. Keep the excitement rolling. I don't get it, Joe. The NBA, this is not rocket science. They absolutely killed the momentum for the night's game. They don't need to start the first game at 2:30 p.m. on the Pacific Coast time. That was absolutely asinine. Again, they didn't learn from their previous mistakes before. The NBA I don't get it with the NBA. They just have all these opportunities to make this package and make their sport look a lot better, and they just don't end up doing it, Joe.
If I really went off on this, we would probably be here for 3-4 hours.
Yes, that's true.
But I'll try to put the cliff notes on this. I know you probably have to head out. What do you see 90% of the time between breaks on the NBA? Now, I'm not just blaming the NBA. It's all the sports. I mean, I'm watching the MLB network. I just want to watch.
Oh, you didn't want the concert in the middle?
I just want to. The concert part always is an interesting question because I do love the walkout song for the closers. I think that this Edwin Diaz thing. I'm so excited about Timmy Trumpets. I can't wait for opening day now, right? And I was already excited about opening day. Now I'm really excited. I want to be there to feel that. I get the concert music type thing. Music is like no other. Music taps into something in all people. It unifies people. It makes it feel much better. I get it. But it can't be overextended, right? But more so than that is, thank you, El Rosta. See, this is my people right here.
Shout out to El Rosto.
This is my people. I didn't even say anything, and he already knew what I was going to say. I'm watching the MLB network, and I'm using that as an example so I'm not just blaming the NBA. I'm sitting there. I have children in the room. I'm not a prude, by the way, okay? But I have a section. There's a section in your life as an adult. You cannot do this in front of children. A lot of people do that. I'm sitting there. It's 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I just want to find out what's going on with free agency. I'm listening to Howard Reynolds talk. This guy's talking. That guy's talking. I'm trying. And then it goes to commercial, and it's a fucking 5-minute cocktail commercial. Oh, my God, my wife, she's so happy that I got my dick up now. He's not saying that verbatim, but I'm like, what is this? And if it's not that, it's some gambling commercial.
Blue Chew is very popular on NBA.
So you're saying why do they not give a shit about that gap? Because it doesn't matter. They've already gone into bed with the gambling stuff. My cousins' kids who are like my nephews, they've been going crazy for years. Joe, why don't you gamble? You know so much. I go, you really want to know why? It's not about losing and winning. I understand the excitement of that. And believe me, it's fun. But I'm just feeding into what's going on right now. The quality isn't there because they don't give a shit. And they don't have to. It doesn't matter if that game takes 18 hours between the next one because there's going to still be people that are degenerate pieces of shit gamblers that are going to watch. That's who they give a shit about. They don't give a fuck about us unless our dicks aren't working. That's the only time they do care.
Like I said, Joe, I did not realize how important Blue Chew was to NBA TV.
Cocktails.
I found out this weekend.
Cocktails.
Yeah.
Gambling. And I hate that the subject came up tonight. I have to say it, okay? And you can't sit there and tell me, especially considering what the fuck has just happened in the last 24 to 48 hours in Australia at Brown University. What the hell do you think those cocksuckers were on? You think they were on aspirin or gummies from their Flintstone package? No. What else does the NBA and the NFL and all these leagues and all these people always pumping every 5 fucking minutes? Take this pill. Take this pharma pill. Eli Lilly. Take this pill. AstraZeneca. All fucking dope. Dope. Cock pills and fucking gambling. And you're wondering why they don't give a shit. They want that game to be longer because that means more commercials for you to make. Maybe, you know what? I only fucked twice last week. Maybe I should get the pill. Or maybe I can do it 12 times this week. Look, before I even knew anything, Chris Rock, and he did a documentary on this, by the way. When Chris Rock really became Chris Rock, he became Chris Rock when he really didn't give a shit. Because he was in a time where performers were typecasted and they didn't know, is this guy an actor? Is he like this? He's that. He finally said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to say what I want to say. And he had a bit. To me, he was the number one stand-up comic in the 90s. And I don't think anybody's close. George Carlin was there too, but Chris Rock owned the 90s. And he said this one thing in one of his bits. He goes, they have a pill out there. This is before it got crazy too. Like he knew it before. Do you ever get up do you ever like stand up and walk? Like, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And can't get up in the morning, something like that, like something just mundane and stupid. I got that. Yeah, I got that. I stand up and walk. I have that. Oh, they have a pill for that, right? Restless leg syndrome, for God's sakes. When I first heard that, I'm like, is that a joke? This is before the sensitivity and dope era of the last decade. I'm like, what the hell is restless leg syndrome? You mean the guys that move their legs like this, they have a pill for that? Isn't it much easier to just slap the guy in the head and say, stop doing that to your leg? I've yelled at guys in meetings when they were doing that. Because all you hear is this. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing under there? I actually did that. I didn't say that. Not that one was because it was my buddy, but that actually happened 6 months ago in a like normal meeting. It was like, all you heard is this, and I'm like, Paul, and right away he knew what was going on. Actually, the guy next to me too, he said it right after I did. So that is Eddie owned the 80s, Isaac. Richard Pryor owned the 70s. So why? We're asking why. I just gave you a little bit of a tidbit on what's going on here. And for those of you who again, I don't want to go deep into this because this is a Lakers show, but
Are you sure this isn't a glorified Hims and Hers commercial?
if you're gonna tell people, if you're gonna be a public person, you're gonna tell them how to live life, how to vote, how to do all that, make sure you take care of your own house first.
And on that note, once again,
that's a serious comment, and I put it really lightly there. If you're gonna bitch and whine about what's going on, your dumbass better have your house in line. If you're gonna give out advice, if you don't, you could shut the fuck up. That's of course Dave Chappelle, who's the icon of 2010s.
All right. Well, on that note, once again, the Lakers do squeak out the victory, 116-114. Legend, I know you got a lot of stuff going on this week. Hopefully, as well, we can schedule maybe an NBA observations this week. The Lakers, we're going to need to fill up some time because the Lakers don't have a game until Thursday. That's at Utah. This is a 4-game road trip, guys. The Phoenix game tonight was the add-in game because of whatever the results would be from the NBA Cup. Lakers didn't make it, and Phoenix didn't make it, so they were put together tonight. They do go at Utah on Thursday, Saturday at the Clippers, then Tuesday at, of course, coming right back, the Phoenix Suns, like I talked about. So can't wait to poke the bear again. But my friend, who's had a up and down ride tonight with his basketball teams, one winning, one not winning. What you got planned this week besides a conversation with me on college football on Monday night, my friend?
I'm probably gonna do a good little NBA talk myself this week, and then I'm probably gonna do a little video talking about my university. Got our defensive coordinator Georgia Southern. We needed that badly, and then we're gonna talk about the upcoming matches for the college football playoff. We're gonna talk about can James Madison maybe make it interesting, maybe get an upset. I'm gonna talk about that. See, we're gonna make things interesting.
Well, thank you, Legend. I appreciate it. Once again, go ahead and check them out at I Got Next Sports Media. Thank you, Joe, as well, for being on tonight. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for Xbox for being you, my friend. And again, all our thoughts are with everyone in Australia, Brown University, and those in the entertainment world who followed, of course, director Rob Reiner, who him and his wife were unfortunately found dead tonight. And so it's very sad news to hear from the entertainment world. We do not know the specifics yet. Just wanted to clarify from earlier. We don't, a lot of speculation go around. A family member did find them, but we don't know what this whole scenario in that and what's going on there. So again, terrible to see such a great and outstanding director gone way too soon. One last super chat here coming up from Drip Show. Again, at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. Please go ahead and support them there. Get those last minute holiday gifts from at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. FYI, AI is watching your phone. Stop sending your side girl pics to people. AI is everywhere. We might even be AI. I don't know, but
it's funny you brought that up. Somebody will say a comment, right? So the Bonnie Blue lady was the topic of discussion this last week. I don't know who the hell Bonnie Blue was, because I heard it in jest. Like it was just like I heard Bonnie Blue, probably some singer, right? And then I started seeing it more in the context of the post, and I'm like, oh, okay, I think I see what's going on here. And I go, who's Bonnie Blue? And some guy goes, Google is your friend. I'm like, fuck that. I ain't looking up for no damn Bonnie Blue. I end up kicking the bucket tonight, and then they go in my history thing. I'm not gonna go around and have to worry about my kids cleaning my shit up when I'm gonna get buried and like, oh, Daddy was looking at Bonnie Blue. Everybody started laughing, of course. And finally found out who she really was, and the stupid reason why she got in trouble. They should have left her wherever they found her.
I gotta order from the Drip Shop at some point too. I gotta order me some.
Stupid ass freaking society we're in. That the smartest, most info-filled era in the history of the world, in the history of civilization, and we have articles about some stupid ass skank in some other country yapping about something.
And legend, Georgia. Okay, you're competing for a national championship. Why are you shoplifting?
Yeah.
Why?
Probably went to the Jameis Winston School of grocery shopping.
Or who? The middle ball who did in China.
Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart team.
Leangelo Ball.
Oh yeah, Leangelo. He did the same thing
in China. Yeah. So yeah, that started the derailment of his career. But legend, appreciate it again. Thank you so much. I got Next Sports Media. Check out Joe's latest show. He did 3 hours last night. Really a doozy. So please go ahead and check him out. Intel. I don't think we're going to get the necessary likes, but if you guys like and subscribe on your way out, it is truly appreciated. And thank you, Intel, for your generosity, and also Intel, and also El Rosto, and of course Drip Show Shop as well. Truly appreciate all you guys out there that gave the nice, obviously very generous, especially this time of year, super chats. So cannot thank you enough for doing that. El Rosto, crab and lobster. Yeah, never go wrong with crab and lobster here. I'll tell you that. I'm telling you, the Palms Buffet, guys. I know they've raised their price. They're in the 70s now, but all you can eat lobster, guys.
Sports Baby is MIA for what, an hour? The second you bring up a porn star, boom.
Yeah, right.
Shows up.
It's like Joe Henry. You just say his name and there he appears. You just say a porn star or adult movie star and there he appears. Absolutely. But it is, of course, the Lakers sneaking out with the victory. What a game. What a last minute. 116 to 114. But we'll be back with some NBA observations to fill up your time until Thursday. Looking forward to that. Maybe even a snack pack. Joe may go and I may go on with a snack pack.
I'm going to grab a snack right now.
There you go. Indeed. But it is, of course, legend from I Got Next Sports Media, Joe Sorrell for the Joe Sorrell Experiment, and me, Joe Glassford. Hopefully you've had a great Lakers weekend amongst all the other situations going on. We're always here for you, win or lose, but tonight's a win. As we go ahead and continue on with the Lakers season right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Thanks everybody for watching. You didn't hear my thanks before because I know you like it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for thanking everyone.